Hey everybody, this is Bill. Welcome to the channel. On this channel, we talk stock investing, we talk about real estate investing, and we talk college football. And the season is right around the corner. So today we're going to preview the Pac-12 conference. So join us as we take a look at the Pac-12, make our predictions on where these teams finish, and do a little preview on each one of the teams. We like what Nick Rolovich is doing at Washington State, and if the Cougars can get anything going defensively, they can move up in the North Division. The Cougars look dangerous on offense. The entire offensive line is back, with the leading rusher and receivers also returning. Jaden DeLauro returns at quarterback, but Tennessee transfer Jarrett Garantano may give him a run. The Cougars will certainly be exciting to watch in 2021, but the defense needs to step up for Washington State to move up higher in the division. At Cal, the Bears were picked to make some noise last year, but wilted in the heat. Jason Wilcox brings back 17 starters, including quarterback Chase Garbers. While physical, the Bears need more points per game in 2021. Outside linebacker Cameron Good is a terror for the Bears' stop troops. Road trips to TCU, Washington, and Oregon with USC home portend a tough schedule for the Bears. For a decade or so, Stanford was the West Coast version of Wisconsin, with a blueprint of success resulting in 8+ wins per year. But the Cardinals have seemingly fallen off track and remain struggling for friction after a mediocre 2020. The offensive line is not quite as strong as usual, and Stanford will field a new signal caller here in 2021. Defensive end Thomas Booker leads the defensive unit, which most uncharacteristically gave up almost 32 points per game last year. It's hard to think that this Stanford team, young at the skill spots and average on the stop side, can contend in the division in 2021. You have to like what's going on up at Oregon State. 19 starters return from a team that was very dangerous in 2020. Quarterback Tristan Gebbia returns from a late-season injury after playing quite well last fall. The Beavers do need a new running back, and South Carolina transfer Deshaun Fenwick may be the answer there. 4 of the top 5 receivers return. Avery Roberts returns at linebacker after leading the Beavers in stops in 2020, and the secondary is sound. We think the Beavers are well equipped to make some noise in 2021 and reach a bowl game. They are a very dangerous team in our opinion. Up at Washington, there were mixed reviews for the initial season for the Dogs under Jimmy Lake last year. Quarterback Dylan Morris is back this year, but he did not exactly light it up, throwing 4 touchdowns against 3 interceptions. Now Morris is ready to go, but Washington welcomes a legacy player in quarterback Sam Horde, who comes from a family of talented and highly thought of former Husky signal callers. Will Horde supplant Morris? Odds would appear to ultimately favor it. The defense, led by corner Trent McDuffie, will be salty as usual. The Huskies miss USC and Utah, and they get Oregon at home. They will have to be on point when they travel to Ann Arbor in Week 2, but if they win that and get a home win against an improved UCLA, the game against Oregon and Seattle will be very huge. We think the Dogs stumble, but their record overall will be pretty doggone good. Oregon is in position to challenge not only for the Pac-12 championship, but for a college football playoff spot. 16 starters are returning, and Mario Cristobal is ready to take his Ducks to the next level. Quarterback Anthony Brown will lead a veteran offensive unit, but it's the Oregon defensive unit which strikes fears in opponents. Oregon defensive end Kayvon Thibodeau is our preseason Defensive Player of the Year, a surefire top 3 NFL draft pick, and he leads a veteran defensive unit for the Ducks. Oregon misses USC and Arizona State from the South and should be undefeated in the conference before traveling to Seattle to face a strong Washington team. If Oregon survives, only a trip to Utah stands in the way. Oregon has a chance, and if they get by Ohio State early, you have to figure them in the playoff. Well, folks, that's a look at the Pac-12 North. Looks like we have Oregon leading the way there. Before we get over to the Pac-12 South, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to our page, we're going to have a lot of college football coverage. We sure would appreciate having you along. Okay, let's get down to the South and check it out. At Arizona, I just continue to be amazed that Kevin Sumlin tenure was such a complete disaster. I have to admit, I thought Sumlin might be pretty good for the Cats. So now Arizona has reversed course, bringing in Jedd Fisch. It's going to begin with culture with Fisch, who won't be flirting with a quick fix. Fisch has a plan, and word on the street is folks associated with the program have been most impressed with him thus far. Sumlin left few, if any, players capable of challenging for conference honors, and with this lack of development talent on hand, as rival Arizona State displayed in pounding the Cats 70-7 in the final 2020 game, there is no quick fix here. but Fish looks to be fast at work and building a foundation of future success, so we wish him well. The Colorado Buffaloes surprised many last year, jumping out to a 4-0 record under Coach Carl Durrell before falling to Utah and losing to Texas in the Alamo Bowl. 16 starters returned, including all Pac-12 running back Jarek Broussard. All Pac-12 linebacker Nate Landman is also back, so Colorado has a top player on both sides of the ball to lead the way this year. 2 very tough out-of-conference games against Texas A&M and Minnesota could definitely hit the psyche there in Boulder, but the main issue, Colorado must host Washington and go on the road to face Oregon, while facing the main division competition, USC, Arizona State, and Utah, with 2 of these 3 on the road. Ouch! It's going to be a tough one for the Buffs. UCLA coach Chip Kelly has not had the success many envisioned when he took the job at Westwood, but Kelly is about to field his best team yet. The Bruins are led offensively by quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who is a really good player most of the country knows nothing about. 10 total starters return on offense, including outstanding tight end Greg Dulcich. 10 defensive starters are also back. But the Bruins did give up way too many points in 2020, including 48 points to opponents to begin and end this regular season against rather average opponents. Folks, UCLA will score in 2021, so stopping opponents will be the key to the season's success for Chip Kelly and the Bruins. If there's a wild card team out there, Arizona State would be it. Well, offensively, the firepower seems plenty. Quarterback Jaden Daniels is special, and he can change games with his effectiveness running or passing. Defensively, almost the entire unit returns, so big things are expected. Outside linebacker Merlin Robertson is a potential All-America player, so the stinginess of this defensive unit starts with him. Arizona State is a very dangerous team, a sleeper for national contention, but there is an NCAA investigation that seems to be holding heavy there in Tempe, so we think this has a negative impact. Call it 9-3, but do keep your eye on the devil you may not know. Utah is always quietly in the hunt, and that is again the case this fall. Former Baylor quarterback Charlie Brewer has transferred in, and he's quite good when healthy. Brewer can target tight end Brant Kuthi, another honors candidate, and all-star receiver Brian Covey, who has been dealing for the Utes for years. Led by All-America linebacker Devin Lloyd, who led the Utes in tackles in 2020, Utah will once again field a very stingy defensive unit, one that returns 9 starters. The schedule is tough, so we think the Utes go 10-2, but if they beat USC, with Arizona State potentially having some issues, a win over Oregon could propel the Utes to the college football playoff. Southern Cal coach Clay Helton has a veteran team with a very good quarterback, so the time is now to quiet many of his critics. USC beat UCLA going 5-0 before falling to Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game a year ago, but the Trojans barely won a handful of those games, relying on incredible comeback efforts. This year, quarterback Keaton Slovis, an All-America candidate, returns to direct the Trojan offensive attack. Wide receiver Drake London, the team's top receiver, was brilliant in 2020 and should contend for All-America honors here in 2021. Outstanding Colorado transfer K.D. Nixon also arrives to help with that receiving core, which is outstanding. Defensive end Drake Jackson is another potential All-America quarterback for the Trojans, and he leads a decent defensive unit. The schedule sets up nice for USC. The Trojans could run the table, but USC has of yet failed to show the consistency to bring it to a championship level every week. So we'll go with Southern Cal finishing 10-2. Okay, so that wraps up our preview of the Pac-12. We have Oregon winning the North, Southern California winning the South, and that's going to be a big title game there. Be interested to see how that shakes out. Appreciate you coming along for the ride here. You can follow us on Facebook at The Color and Pageantry. We're currently censored over there, but we look forward to getting back real soon. Certainly appreciate you watching. Thank you so very much. We'll see you next time.